Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. We got all the buttons. We're back home and alive in beautiful Southern California. What's going on, Dodgers Nation? It's your boy. My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. Today, we're home.
We are home. We got back from Arizona. We were over there. We probably, could have or should have stayed another day. Just get some more stuff done. But, our boy, you guys will notice watching that the little square of Gary is missing. Gary is actually still out in Arizona. He's coming back tomorrow. So good luck making it back. But we have stories about how Gary tried to kill us, and that's going to be a lot of fun to get through.
He did try to kill us.
On today's show, more rosterbation because baseball is actually happening now, and we're all very happy.
Do you want to explain what rosterbation is? Because we've got a lot of questions.
I mean, have people never heard of rosterbaiting?
Apparently not. No, there's a lot of people who are
Stay
very confused.
tuned later on in the show.
You gotta stick around.
The rotation. What we've played at this point 3 games, and the rotation is already set. 4 games.
4 games.
4 games.
But it was already pretty much set before today. So
yeah. So we'll get more into that as part of the roster baiting series. Then Brooke and I will have more as our boy Charles Hamill over on Facebook asks right now. What's up, fellas? How was AZ? We'll get to that in about the second half of the show.
You want stories? We got stories.
We got stories for sure. What's a good story? Here it is. That's
because we almost died.
Yeah, it's not how you think. It's the good way. Tyler Roster Bates Daily. Thank you. If we have time, which I really do want to get to this because it's coming up pretty soon. As of now, the day the podcast side of this release, it will be exactly 1 month to the day until opening day. Or I think actually right now it's 1 month to the day because it's
Today's
weird
the 25th
February
and opening day's on the 25th.
Yeah, no,
right?
26th.
It's like a month.
But there's no...
There's no 29th or 30th.
No, there's a 29th. There's no 30th or 31st.
There's a 29th?
And so much more.
Are we in a leap year?
We are in a leap year.
Dude,
My friend is turning 8 this year. He's like 35, 36, but he's turning 8. Of course, we have to give a shout out to our friends over there in the upper right-hand corner. You guys will see them on the podcast side or on the video side. Sportscaster, they are our friends, and we love them. Sportscaster.com. You can look like a pro, sound like a pro. With access to built-in studio graphics and special events, you could be cool like Brooke. So if you want to live stream, game, be your own broadcaster, visit sportscaster.com today. That is CASTR.com today, but of course after the stream.
Yeah, make sure you do it after the stream because we're more important and we matter more than whatever. I don't know whatever's associated with that. Guys, don't forget this is a live stream, so make sure you guys drop into the comments wherever you're watching from. Let us know. We got Jermaine over there watching from Moreno Valley. Oh, Mo Valley says every fan from each team that visits the Astros needs to bang trash cans to the team as they became. I don't know. That one's hard to read. They're the most. I think I had a stroke reading that.
They're the most sorry team, is what Jermaine is saying.
We got you. We follow. So again, let us know where you're watching tonight.
We have decided to officially not talk about the Astros anymore because we're bored of it until next week or next month or whatever the hell it's supposed to be when the Red Sox thing comes down, because that's going to be fun and that's going to open up a whole other can of worms.
It's a whole other thing that we got to do.
We like opening up cans of beer over here from our friends over at Figueroa Mountain. We got the Santa Barbara Citrus here, and this is a tasty beverage.
Well, that was really difficult for me.
Dodger Man 5150 says, "What's up, everyone? What's going on, Dodger Man? I hope you get your crazy fixed." Manfred asks, "Who went Oppo Taco? CT3 and went in game 1."
He did.
Yeah. Katie says, "So much count how many times y'all say rosterbation in tonight's stream."
I think we're up to at least 12 times. 12.
Brian Baker is excited that Alex Wood is back. What do you guys think?
Question mark. I'm excited that Alex Wood is back. Yeah, that's something that we will talk about in the stream a little bit today because he pretty much said, "Hey, I'm in the rotation."
Yeah.
Without so much saying that, "Hey, I'm in the rotation." Or having anybody say that, "Hey, you're in the rotation."
It's the second time he said that much because he did say that at FanFest. He was like, "Hey, I signed back here to be in the rotation." Or I think it was at FanFest or what's it? Did he?
It was FanFest, was it?
It was somewhere, but he's like, "I resigned with this team.
I resigned to be a starter."
I resigned.
I resigned as starter. It's like in The Office when Pam pretends to be office manager and she just speaks it into existence. She's like, I'm the office manager. And they're like, you're the office manager.
I declare office manager.
Yeah, it's the same thing. He's just like, I'm a starter. And Dave Roberts is like, you're a starter?
Well, I mean, let's kind of jump right into it. As the roster is less coming along, the rotation is definitely set. Some combination of Kershaw, Buehler, Price, Urias, and Wood, and by some combination, I would put money on that exact combination. Dave has said, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts has said, and we have fine video over on youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. If you're watching it there, subscribe, please. We're putting up fantastic videos. Gary's out there shooting his ass off, if that's an expression.
Rosterbation videos?
He's rosterbating hard over there, watching Walker Buehler pitch to Corey Seager and other things, and seeing naked Corey Seager also in the locker room. But we'll avoid that stuff.
That's just part of the job, guys.
Yeah, it's part of the job. It's part of the excitement of the job. But Ken Gurnick keeps kind of pushing that narrative. Hey, who's going to be your opening day starter? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? And Dave's like, I know who. We're not going to tell you. I'm not ready to make that announcement yet.
Who do
you think?
I really like how Dave is just kind of annoyed by it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, in his mind, he's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I know you guys think it matters, but it doesn't. I think fans think it matters, and I think there's like a certain what do you call that? Like
excitement?
I don't know, excitement, I guess, behind it. Like, people think that there's no such thing as an ace of a staff really anymore. Even that's not even really a real thing so much. You put your best guy out there on any given day, it doesn't really matter. So in terms of like your opening day starter, I wouldn't say that it has to be like your number one guy. Sometimes it's ceremonial. It happens like that. It's not like you have to win the first game of the season. Like, that's not what it's about.
And I think today that's what Dave alluded to a lot more. Gary actually asked, when it comes to the opening day starter, and we didn't get a chance to plug the video into the stream today, but go and check it out. It's a good video, a goodly video. But Gary was asking, is it something where, you're looking at other things other than performance, things outside of performance, and Dave's like, yeah, which means Kershaw starting opening day. And you know what? Kershaw should start opening day.
He should.
I mean, who's not in on Kershaw starting opening day? I mean, the dude's earned it.
He went to Driveline. So automatically he gets
he's a win. We got 3 Driveline boys now.
And a Driveline coach.
And a Driveline coach. As we kind of sort of bounce around with that, we saw Kenley's first outing on Sunday. I mean, he looked solid enough. 2 Ks. I think he topped out at like 93.
He was he hit 93 a few times on the gun. And I think when they talked to Dave Roberts after the game, he's like, this time last year he was like 86, 88 miles an hour on the gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's encouraging to see him topping out that early. I think, from what I heard from other people, his cutter had a lot of run on it, which is mostly what you're looking for. You're not, we're not so much concerned with velocity so much anymore. We need that cutter to cut, because if it's not cutting, it's a bad fastball, like a bad four-seamer. That's all it is.
I mean, last year it was kind of sort of cutting, but it was more dipping. It was almost like a bad slider. And just dipping into the zone.
Just like dipping back slightly back in. Yeah, so he's throwing it up and in, and it's coming right back over the plate.
We've had, every time we've had the opportunity to cover Kenley and his cutter and driveline stuff, we have posted it on our DodgersNation.com, so go check it out. But one of the last things he was talking about is getting the right backspin on it, the spin rate or whatever, but keeping the ball up, because it was dipping into bats, essentially, as we saw last year. But we still haven't seen Kershaw in a game. We're going to see him on Friday. Is that what he announced?
Yeah, Friday is Kershaw, Saturday is Buehler.
Which is point number 2 of where you can imagine that Kershaw is starting opening day.
I like when they said, can we read into that? James was like, you can read into that however you want.
Read into that however you want. But the idea of Kershaw being, 31, 32 now, being old. And going to Driveline, I did the story about it last night, and Athletic, Pedro Mora of the Athletic jumped in on that, but it was his story, and then I, read it and stole it all. But and there's no paywall for me, boys and girls. I'm free.
Oh, so what you're saying is they don't have to pay to read your stuff.
But
gotcha. Yeah, I follow.
But Kershaw, I think he really thought Driveline was just the plyo balls, just the weighted balls up until the point where he went there.
He's like, oh.
It's like, oh, wow, they actually teach you things and they have videos and stuff.
There's like mechanics.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought you just threw heavy balls at the wall.
I mean, on top of, you mentioned the Driveline guy being with the Dodgers now, Rob Hill, there's another guy who's been with the club since, I think, 2017, Connor McGinnis, who the last 2 seasons has been the pitching coach at Single A, and Single A has had some fine pitchers come up and through it. Josiah Gray being one of the more recent ones, but just about everybody, like Dustin May, came up through there and all that. So Homeboy knows what he's doing, and he's one of those analytic guys. Your boy SD Dodger Tim Rogers knows a lot more about Connor McGinnis, but I'm sure we're going to learn more about him. I guess he's labeled as the assistant pitching coach. So you get that kind of stuff. You start to get the excitement of imagining Kershaw being Kershaw again. I mean, he was good last year, and a lot of people might not realize Kershaw was second on the staff in wins above replacement, and he out-pitched, if you will. He out-pitched Walker Buehler. And at the same time, you look at Buehler, it's like, maybe he's ready for it. He's probably ready for it. We know he's big game ready, but at the same time, why force him into it? Why rush him into it?
Yeah.
When you can have him go against your number 2s and steal a win, and then all of a sudden David Price, who, I don't know, I mean, how are you feeling about David Price?
I think it's weird that we haven't seen much from him lately. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's an older guy. I say older, but he's like Kershaw older. He's you look at his numbers and you're like, people, I don't know. People had a weird reaction to it where they were like, "Oh, David Price, he's been washed for years." I'm like, that's a really good number 3 guy. Like, you look at the rotation and how it's been for the last couple of years. Like, in any other rotation, you're like, dang, that's a really good number 3. Like, he's gonna have like a 3 to 3.5 ERA. Like that's kind of just a given, unless he has a bounce back year. And just like every other 3 spot in every rotation, like that's what he's gonna be. So he's a decent number 3 option. So I'm excited about him. I'm hoping like something changes because the Dodgers do have one of the best coaching staffs in terms of pitching in baseball, and so they have a tendency of turning people's careers around, and they've done it time and time again. So I'm hoping he gets something positive out of this coaching staff. I'm hoping they can turn something positive out of him. But regardless, if he has the exact same season that he had last year in Boston, like, it's a good season. I'll take it for what's equivalent to like $16 million a year for him. So sold. Easy decision. He's better than Kenta for sure.
And at the same time, he's better than Kenta. I think he'll probably have a better season than Ryu, especially Ryu being in Toronto now. on the turf is not going to play up as well for him because he's a ground ball guy.
He's a ground ball guy.
But you can add somebody like that. You can add a Cy Young Award winner in the past to your damn current team, and he's not really, the expectations are super low for him. Just show up and do what you can do. I mean, that's going to be like probably terrible. We're high on it, so he'll be on the injured list by May. And then boom, Ross Stripling will be right back in the rotation. Let's pull a few comments before we get more into Ross Stripling, because I do want to talk about our boy Ross. Sorry, we're a little behind on the comments here, but Anthony on Facebook is watching from La Habra Softfields. Go Mambacitas.
Softfields. Softball fields.
Mambacita. Softball
fields.
Yeah. Joe Bennett's in Anaheim, the former future home of Ross Stripling. Fernando is glad to be back in season. Kiwi Dodgers watching all the way from New Zealand. AJ Smitrovic? Smitrovic?
I don't speak Spanish.
AJ over on not the guitar, but on the YouTube says that Fig Mountain is a great brewery, and we agree. We agree for sure. What do you have any? We got shout out to Santa Barbara. We got our boy Straight Nasty, who I believe also said hi to you.
There's one in there for you somewhere, and that's just for you though. So
AJ
Gonzalez says, I too went to Driveline this winter. My bourbon is much more efficient so far. That's really good, AJ.
I'm guessing you're talking about that one.
That one, yeah. DJ Jimenez over on YouTube's says Cody Thomas with that great catch the other day. That's another MVP Cody.
Yeah, seriously, Cody Thomas
hit a dong and stole a dong.
There it is. That wins you. That puts you on the radar in terms of Dodger fans. I mean, you think about what Cody did a few seasons ago in spring training when nobody really knew about him, and he cranked one almost out of whatever the hell they call the Milwaukee. It's like Great American Life Globe Stadium, whatever. But it's a beautiful complex in Arizona. Nice spot out there in Arizona. Manny asks, or do you have one? You think you had one?
I don't have one. Felix Reyes says Tacoma, Washington. Welcome, Felix from Tacoma.
Reyes, or I say Manny asked or says, as versatile as Kenta though when it comes to David Price. No,
but we have Ross Stripling.
I mean, he did kind of like do a lot to the Dodgers in the 2018 World Series. David Price out of the rotation. I mean, out of the bullpen. So maybe
both.
Still, the fact is he can hopefully get right-handers and left-handers out, and it'll be a good addition to, or it'd be nice to actually have somebody that you can believe in as your number 3 guy, and not
that'll be a first,
and not like Rich Hill going as our 4th guy last year, duct taped together, and we'll still
quite literally duct taped together.
We'll literally never really understand that one.
Taylor Spencer says Seager seems to be better already.
You have a note on that.
I do have a note on that, and here's my note. During his worst stretches, he does this thing where he's pulling his body off of the ball really early in at bats. So the bat's staying through the zone, but his body's flying out. Mm-hmm. He's doing that this spring early in batting practice. And Cooper Searle says, "Dad."
What? Oh, Cooper's
in the stream. He said, "Dad."
What's up, Coop?
But Corey's doing that thing where he's pulling off the ball really early. We saw him do it during live BP when Gary was out there recording. We saw him do it during his first game. Whenever he's doing that, that's when he's grounding out to first every single time. Like that same exact play every single time. So hopefully
he gets into that habit.
Fix that
frequently enough. But he
needs a good year. He needs a good 2020. That's all I have to say about that.
We got a note coming in from Gary live via the internet here saying Gary says it looks like Cody gained some weight. He's not as skinny as last year. So is that more off-season pizza or is that intentional?
Cody gained some weight?
Cody.
MVP, people buy you drinks. It happens.
Yeah. I mean,
he did look bulkier. Like he didn't look, chubbier. He looked like he's been lifting. I don't know what he's been doing in his offseason. That's a good question for him, Gary. If you see him at some point while you're out there, ask him for that.
There's some more.
He probably changed to more of a weightlifting program. Like he got on the Shohei Ohtani weightlifting program. Have you seen that dude?
Did you guys see Ohtani? He's like
Ohtani-san is jacked. Oh my gosh, dude! His shoulders look like Dwight Howard's shoulders.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Just less Superman.
Yeah.
We have somebody from Antarctica in the stream right now.
That's not right. Are you lying to me right now?
That's pretty cool.
Is it Puppy Butt?
Yes.
That's a name that's on here.
Juiced Lee asks, do we think Jimmy Nelson gets a start in the season? No, I don't. If Jimmy Nelson somehow makes starts early in the season, something went terribly, terribly wrong. I mean, as of now, Ross Stripling is the 6th option because once again he's kind of getting asked out of a well-deserved rotation spot. And I mean, some of it I wouldn't say is his fault, but it's kind of his body's fault for
his body.
I mean, he did have that neck shoulder thing that happened last year when they're about to plug him into the rotation again for the stretch run. So, I mean, that's not your fault. Injuries aren't your fault, but still the fact that homeboy just can't really crack the rotation is tough. So. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Jimmy Nelson gets a start in front of Ross. I think Ross is about to go 8.
He's not gonna like that. Juice Lee also asked, who do you think will have more starts this season, May or Gonsolin? I can take that one. I think Dustin May will have more starts than Tony Gonsolin because Gonsolin is gonna be solid out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony Gonsolin will get very many starts at all this year at the major league level. I also think Gonsolin and May both start the season at AAA. Is that a hot take? I don't know.
I wasn't really paying attention.
I said that I think they're both going to start the season at AAA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's not a hot take, though.
In your face, sucker!
It's not a hot take. It's a button.
Gary follows up by saying that he went back on dairy. He ate cow, didn't just drink cow.
He ate and drank a cow.
Sources confirm.
That's called a milkshake.
But back to Jimmy Nelson. I think it was yesterday the question was asked, and it might have been by Gary because I told him to ask it, about Jimmy Nelson and his, kind of fitting in with the team and sort of what his role is going to be because he's been sort of sidelined with a arm or shoulder thing.
Jimmy?
Yeah. your boy J-Bone over there. But Doc said that, he kind of mentioned, again, the Brandon Morrow type. And it looks like if he cracks this roster, he's going to be more in the pen.
Yep.
And his stuff plays up out of the pen. He has a better career ERA and a way, way, way fewer outings for sure. But
he's definitely better out of the pen than as a starter, that's for sure.
I think there's more of a chance of him being released than him actually making the team. But that's just where I'm feeling right now.
That's been my prediction. Is I don't think he's going to even crack the team at all. Like irregardless.
And now Selena's mad at me for
saying that.
Yeah, she hates that so much.
That? Oh, okay. Taylor says, didn't Robert say that Gonsolin will be in the bullpen maybe on opening day too? There's a possibility he'll be on the. There's a lot that can happen in the next 3 to 4 weeks, guys. That's the thing. That's what spring training is kind of for. I think the past couple of years we've gone through a similar thing where like we don't have room for this person, etc. X amount of people, whatever, and it kind of always just ends up working itself out. The roster always finds a way to work itself out by spring training, whether that be poor performance or underperforming or injury. It kind of happens. It's just natural. That's the flow of the game. I'm sure there'll be 3 or 4 guys that feel not well enough to make the opening day roster, and they'll end up on the 10-day IL.
It's not a 10-day anymore for pitchers.
IL.
Yeah, it's 15 now for the pitchers.
and so with that,
it's still 10 for position players, though, right?
I have no idea. I don't know baseball. I've never baseballed.
Cool.
I've seen 2.
And one of them was this weekend when we went to the game.
Yeah, and I forgot my sunscreen. Oh, Selena's mad.
Oh, look at you! Look what you did.
That's on me, Selena. Mrs. FRG.
But I mean, kind of doubling back to where we started with this. The fact that the starting rotation has been essentially announced so early. Like they haven't done that very much. Usually, Dave is like he'll give the appearance of competition. He'll let Ross feel like he has a chance and that he's welcome to.
He tends to let it run for a while. Like he doesn't say it this early ever.
Usually it goes the other way around. It'll be Dave will say, "Here's our opening day starter," like before, like right after pitchers and catchers report, and then
because it's always been Kershaw.
Because it's always been Kershaw, except for when his arm fell off last year, and then it's the last minute. It's going to be here's our 4th and 5th guy, but now. While it's not Garrett Cole, you still have quality arms at each spot. Like I feel this is probably the best rotation going into the season we've
had ever
in a while,
in a long time. I mean, are you saying the rotation that included Chris Capuano was not our best rotation?
Where's your Brian Anderson boys at? Press F in the chat for Brian Anderson. Mash that heart button, guys.
I think he's still playing.
Yeah, he's still playing. He is with Milwaukee now, and he's still talking crap.
Remember when we had like Anderson and Brandon McCarthy and Dan Herron or whatever?
Yeah, those were sad times.
Man, talk about a duct tape starting rotation.
Over the weekend, we were talking about it with Strip and Coop about when Ross made his debut, or I think he might have been at the Big Swing live podcast. Which, by the way, that really went over well. Big Swing at Baseballism in Scottsdale was cool. The Alana stories were great. Hopefully, there were some technical difficulties and audio stuff that kind of made it tough, but
they figured it out.
And hopefully it recorded, and that will become a podcast, like an actual podcast, and not just a live, one-off. Because it was a good time. It really did go well. Lana was great. Kyle Farmer was electric.
Dude, Kyle Farmer's hilarious.
Yeah,
I did not know that about him.
Down home white boys be funny.
Oh man, he was cracking me up. He kept jumping on the mic to say something. I was like, all right, Kyle Farmer. He also looks a lot better with long hair.
Katie says L in the chat for Brandon League.
Mikhail, that's a name to make you mad.
Friend of the show, Mikhail says, petition for Brooke to add the bobblehead of himself onto the bobblehead wall. Do you have a bobblehead of yourself, and why the hell is it not here?
I do have a bobblehead of myself.
What the F?
Well, I used to have a job, and it used to be on my desk, and then I quit said job, and so now it's on my kitchen table.
Oh yeah. By the way, Brooke works with us full time now. It doesn't work when you can see it.
No, yeah.
But we're all very excited. As Brooke does goodly words, and he's here with us, and it's going to be super important as we bring you all of the goodly content. So cheers to being a friend.
to being alive.
God friended me.
Anyways, can I put my bobblehead back there?
Yeah, I would strongly encourage. And
I look like a Mormon. I'm wearing like a white shirt and a black tie.
In fact, am offended that it's not up in the up on the shelf already. By the way,
my bad. Put me next to your eBay.
Puppy Butt 310.
Puppy Butt 3
on Twitch. Mashed an L in the chat for
Katie's Brandon League.
Yeah,
reference. Good call. Good call, Puppy Butt.
J Dodger Girl 66 says, welcome to the family. He's always been in the family.
You.
He just somehow upgraded from like cousin to brother.
Yeah. Whatever. Where's Dad?
This is a nice kid, friend of the show. Ryan Moore brings up Josh Beckett is forgotten through a no-hitter in 2014. Yeah, but he was another one of those guys. Like, did you really want Brandon, or what's his name? Josh Beckett to be your number 3 guy in the postseason?
I never liked Josh Beckett. Something about his face just tells me he's not a good dude. I don't know. I've never heard anything about him before, but I just didn't like him.
Now you have Urias too, like in that 4 spot. Even though, I mean,
is this a make or break year for him?
100%.
It has to be, right?
I mean,
like
personally,
there's so much anticipation from him.
Personally, I mean, it's a tough situation. I think if Ross were younger, or if it was the other way around, like Urias was a little bit older, like Ross at 30, obviously he's a damn fine pitcher. He's a former All-Star, but he's not an upside guy anymore. So it's like, hey, this is what you get, which is, ho-hum 3.5 ERA, which is something you want to plug in anywhere in your pitching rotation or whatever, or on your pitching staff. But with Urias, it's like he's still, even though he's been up for like 40 years, he's still just 23, and he's it's a dating site, right? That's where you like go to.
It's not what that is at all.
That's where you go to make out with cows or something.
That's not
AmishParadise.org.
That's not right.
Any hoozle. Yeah, with Urias, he was going to get his chance, and then he got hurt. So now it's like, all right, we're going to finally see what you're about. Even though, to me personally, I think I would call it maybe it would be the best. I can't think of the word right now. Alignment of the staff would have Ross in the rotation because it's very left-handed dominant, and the bullpen is super weak on lefties, and we saw what Julio was able to do out of the pen. So
that's true. Yeah,
maybe they do something with that eventually.
I think it's been proven that Adam Kolarek cannot get out right-handed hitters. So basically,
3-batter rule
because of the new 3-batter rule, Kolarek is useless. Like, I mean, he's probably a nice boy. I've never met him, but I mean. He's essentially been rendered useless, right?
Yeah.
So now we don't really have any left-handed relievers out of the bullpen that can be effective against lefties and righties. Mm-hmm. You got Scott Alexander, who I think still plays baseball. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen him in a long time.
He's throwing for some reason at camp. But
and then on top of that, like, what do we have?
Human people.
We got a lot of right-handed arms. There's a lot of potential from the right side, but
Bruzdar, there's Kenley, there's Dylan Floro still alive.
Joe Kelly.
Ho Kelly.
Did
I say Baez? I did say Pedro. I opened with him. Or if not,
is
Pedro still around? Like, there's a lot of odd arms that kind of sort of don't make sense.
And then you got like guys who could be Caleb Ferguson. There's no way he's on the opening day roster,
but he's a lefty.
But he is a lefty,
and the need for a lefty is going to be a thing. Lincoln's Ghost on YouTube says that he should have never dropped Sadler. I like Casey.
I did like Sadler a lot.
The problem was that he was a guy who didn't have options anymore, and that just does not play as the 24th, 25th, 26th guy on this roster. That does not play, unfortunately. We had. Oh, Frank also brings up Caleb Ferguson.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that they said his curveball is basically it's not as loopy anymore. That's one of the things they said. It doesn't have as much of a loopy arc to it because I think people were picking up on it a lot faster last year. His fastball is really good.
It was very noticeable.
Yeah,
probably
for sure.
Because it was loopy.
He got crushed last year in his limited appearances. You remember he went to like a pretty solid guy out of the pen to like a guy that you never want to see on your roster at all.
He was terrifying there for a good little while.
Yeah, so he doesn't strike me as a guy that you just give the job to right away. I don't think. That's a guy that you kind of got to let him work stuff out in minor leagues and dominate there for a little bit before you give him a job in the friggin' bullpen. What do you got?
Gary importantly notes that Scott Alexander is very good at ping pong. So
welcome to the team.
It's a personal foul.
Is that what it is?
Sure, why not?
Who's Casey Crosby? Oh, Casey Crosby's the pickup. Is that guy playing?
Casey Crosby?
Casey Crosby is the
That's
left.
right. I was thinking of Sidney Crosby.
I was
for something.
too.
Yeah,
I was like,
Casey Crosby's a lefty. He's like a 100-mile-an-hour guy. I haven't seen him at camp. I don't think. No, he did get an NRI invite, but
I haven't
roster
seen him.
invite. Pin number.
Invite. NRI. Yeah. Gary, if you see Casey, I don't know what he looks like, but he's the left-handed and he throws really hard. That's all I've got.
Analysis that is at BrookMe3. He works here now.
Blake Trinan.
Blake Trinan's another guy. Very
He's
important
another
guy, but another right-hander.
That guy. Oh boy, if we ever needed a reliever to succeed, we need that guy to succeed. Joe Kelly too.
Gary's typing out here the Oklahoma City, the AAA starting rotation, and you look at how exceptional. Like we talked about it out in Arizona. Like this team is so good, you could really probably have two separate rosters, and the scrubs that don't make the team, the air quote scrubs that don't make the team, would probably still compete for the NL West.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you split
if
you split the teams evenly, for sure those two compete for the NL West. Like, but it's just the top two.
Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Josiah Gray, Caleb Ferguson, and then there's going to be any number of the random. Mitchell White will be there as well. Like that's a very, very deep.
That's a really good starting rotation.
And any of those guys could plug right into the big time.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of the rosterbation. How many more is that? I think we said it a few more times. Let's throw that in there. One of the final things I want to note before we get to a question, I liked one that Juiced Lee had. Actually, let's get to Juiced Lee first because it's more topical as we're talking about the the Dodgers being good enough to win 2 NL West.
Yeah.
Juiced Lee asks, who are the top teams in the NL that will compete with the Dodgers this year?
In the NL?
Yeah, it's Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I don't know why. I got totally...
I think since he's kind of a sleeper. I feel like since he's kind of a sleeper.
They're a sleeper, but they're not deep enough. They're not a deep enough team.
I was talking to Kyle Farmer about that a little bit. There's a
good friend Kyle
Farmer, good friend K Farm, I call him, and you'll be surprised. He rode the company line saying that we feel really good about our chances this year.
Wow, he's not going to be like, we freaking suck, man.
And then we talk crap about the St. Louis Cardinals, who more than likely are going to get that division. There's a chance that the Cubs will be better. There's a strong likelihood that the Cubs will be better, and if not, they're probably going to trade Chris Bryant, which was another question we had earlier in the stream. Should the Dodgers go and try to get Chris Bryant? My retort is, where do you play him?
My retort is nah. That's it. Yeah, I think the Braves are one of those teams that's going to be pesky all year long. The Dodgers always kind of seem to find a way to handle the Braves, even when they're really good. So I'm not too worried about them, but they're young. They're fast. They're strong. They're
delicious.
Talented. They got their rotations getting better. It's not getting worse, unfortunately. And I think they're going to compete. The Cardinals are always a pain in the Dodgers side, though, and they're very talented this year. And they have pitching this year, and they have hitting this year.
That NL Central is going to be pretty middling, but I think pretty damn solid. For sure.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a comment from somebody. I'm trying to find it, but Gary posted it here into the stream because we're all still working together, despite the fact that he's an hour into the future. He says if you split the Dodgers into 2 teams, are both teams better than the Anaheim Angels? 100%.
Well, yeah, because their starting rotation is already like 10 times better than the. Oh man, the Angels' rotation is so bad. I just realized that our AAA rotation is 5 times better than the Angels' starting rotation.
The AAA rotation would put the Angels right at the top of the AL West.
Yeah, if you were just like, hey, take our AAA rotation, they'd be be a first place team. They'd be like a first place AL team.
You look at the Trastros; they don't even have beyond Verlander and Greinke, who are more than likely going to see some time on the injured list this year. Who do they have?
Greinke might just quit the Astros.
McHugh is barely or is coming. No, McCullers is coming back. And that's a dude coming back from Tommy John. He's not going to throw 200 innings unless they're dumb over there.
He might throw 120.
So they're going to be interesting. And so let's just for fun, so we can get the big leaguers, or we can get our AAA pitchers some quality time against major leaguers. Let's just gift them to the Angels, so they can face better competition than they would at AAA. Thoughts?
Let's just see what happens.
If I were MLB commissioner, I would allow this.
Yeah, we just got to get our guys some innings anyways. So we'll just let them go play for the Angels.
It's not a trade; it's a borrow.
You can borrow, and in exchange, we get Mike Trout forever.
At me, MLB. What up? I just fixed it. I fixed your MLB
commissioner.
Final thing I want to note on the rosterbation here is Mookie says, "Lead me off and leave me there, please." That's something Doc Roberts doesn't like to do. 2 days, one or 2 days before, he said, "Yeah, we'll probably do that. Have him leading off. We might see him, getting some time in the 2-hole against certain right-handed pitchers. Just leave him. Let him do his thing. He's used to it. He's done it he won an MVP leading off. He scored 135 runs, led the league last year.
Yeah,
let him lead off.
He should lead off. He should." Doc's really big on mixing up the lineups every day. You know how he is. He's going to do that. So
you mean Andrew Friedman is?
Here's one from Jimenez. Hey guys, I was wondering if you had any info on Andrew Tolles. Unfortunately, it does not look like Andrew Tolles will be making a return to baseball anytime soon. I would be surprised if he ever made a return to baseball at this point. So
what is he now? Like 27 now?
He's too old to make a comeback after taking essentially 2 years off. So
27. He'll be 28 in May, the end of May. I'm sure you probably saw it, and some of you guys might have saw the story too about Yadier Alvarez, former top prospect who just couldn't find the strike zone. I don't know if he just randomly showed up to spring training.
Well, nobody was expecting it in terms of media.
And they're kind of test driving him off the roster because if he's going to be on the roster or if he's going to pitch in any of the big league games, any of the Cactus League games, he has to be on the 40-man roster because he was added before last season. So they don't want to release anybody. For some reason, Josh Sborz lives. I have no idea why he was saved and not Sadler. Yeah, Casey Sadler is beyond me. But, yeah. What were we talking about?
Josh Sborz.
We were talking about our giveaway. Guys, I got to remind you that we are giving away this sweet, sweet Justin Turner signed bat, signed as an autographed by the man himself, not by us. We're not doing it. So go to DodgersNation.com/giveaways and apply for the bat at DodgersNation.com/giveaways. But that will be going for one more week. The contest ends on, was it the 3rd, the 4th, whatever next Tuesday is. Yeah, the 3rd, Tuesday the 3rd at 12 noon-ish Pacific time. Thank you.
Pacifico time.
Speaking of Pacifico time, we got some stories for you. Gather around, children. We have. I feel bad that I kind of brought up Mookie and then we just sort of moved over it.
That's okay.
Well, I'm sure we'll get back into it a little bit more. But while we're in Arizona, we attended the Big Swing thing, the live podcast, had a good time, and then we went and ate afterwards. Our boy SD Dodger Tim was out there, and it turns out I was talking to Cooper, and they were at the bar right next to us. We were eating, we were watching the fight, and so we went over to the bar, and the short version of the story is me, Brooke, and Cooper drank all of their Pacifico, and it was a good time.
All of it. They sold out of Pacificos.
Gary, yeah. I mean, it was an interesting spot. Like they didn't have a fridge; they had a cooler. And I mean, have you ever been to a spot where it's like a college bar, but it's like I don't know, it's not like an adult school college bar. It's like a college bar if the college had only people that were going for computer classes and they're all like 45 and up. It was an interesting bar. It was a cool time.
I fit in really well.
Yeah, we all fit in really well.
Solid.
Yeah. But it was a nice time. We were over there.
Met steroid Tommy Lasorda.
There was an angry guy at the bar. He wasn't angry, but he realized
his muscles were.
He realized, I know that guy. That guy is a Dodger pitcher because Ross was there, Stripling, Mr. Chicken Strip, and which, by the way, let's title this episode "Beer and Chicken Strips" because we did have chicken strips while we were in Arizona. That was the one healthy meal we had, Gary.
The one.
But yeah, Ross bought us a beer, so we're super thankful, and I owe him a beer now. I think we each owe him a beer because that's only fair. But no, it was cool. It was cool going out there. We met Mrs. Strip and Mrs. Coop. They're very, very cool people, and we stayed up all night swapping manly stories, and in the morning we made waffles, but we didn't stay up all night because we had to work.
We also didn't make waffles.
We didn't make waffles.
We went to Cracker Barrel the next day.
It was cool doing stuff, but it was a tough weekend because Gary tried to kill us. Because the second Brooke and I roll out to Arizona, he's like, "Let's go eat all the meat." So we went and ate all the barbecue
in the world, and then we ate all the unhealthy food from there on out.
And then
including two large pieces of deep dish pizza that almost ended my life and my career.
Well, don't forget, we pre-gamed the deep dish
with
pizza.
Wings and with mayonnaise salad. It's the best way I can describe it. I don't know what else to call it, Gary. Gary, I appreciate you.
It was fun.
Best my stomach's ever felt, and the worst it's ever felt at the same time.
Don't forget about the Mexican food in the middle from that spot before the Ross Bar. The Coop Bar.
Mexican food? Oh, yeah. Tacos. Yeah. I got tacos there. You got fajitas?
That is how you tried to kill us. Yeah, it was very sizzling, and then it ended up kind of cooking onto the thing, so I should have eaten them faster. But
that's your fault.
No, it was a good time. Rain killed our buzz in Arizona. Right, like the day we were supposed to go out and do a bunch of stuff. It was raining. Obviously, you guys saw that on Saturday. The game, all the games I think in Cactus League got rained out except for the Dodgers.
And the Dodgers game probably should have gotten rained out
because the Giants were like, "Oh, we have a new stadium and we're sold out." And
we can't disappoint. Stupid Giants disappoint everybody, anyways. Yeah, I got blamed for the rain somehow. I don't know how that's my fault, but people were upset that I was in Arizona. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry for being alive, everybody. That's on me. What else happened? Anything else good happened while we were out there?
It's hard to think of like what my favorite moment was because there was good times. We did see a game. We ran into our old pal producer T. She's doing well. She got her fancy movie coming out eventually at some point. We assume it's on VHS.
Yep.
In Betamax only.
We ran into DJ Severe at the park.
Yeah.
He was taking pictures with fans. Good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Good dude.
Nice kid, friend of the show. Yeah. Check that out. DJ and Dieter. Good episode. It's a nice time.
It's a nice time.
What was your guys' favorite time in Arizona? What do you guys want to know? Matthew says chicken strips are not healthy. Raising Cane's is healthy, and I won't take any slander.
Oh, that's the chicken strips we had. I was like, we had chicken strips? Yeah. I don't remember that at all.
My old lady's car that we drove out there apparently is afraid of rain and kind of sort of semi broke down, but not really, and then it fixed itself, so that was cool.
Jay on Periscope says, tell us more about steroid Tommy Lasorda. Basically, it was a guy in a Lasorda jersey that looked like 5 of me and bald. He was just jacked and ginormous.
He was
probably
boy.
A nice guy, but I was too afraid of him.
Gym Tan Laundry.
Gym Tan Laundry guy for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But Puppy Butt says, what matching tattoos did you lovebirds get?
Were we supposed to
get tattoos?
Because
we went to Arizona together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was good one, Puppy Butt.
That was the you coming on full-time honeymoon? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough way to get the gig full-time like that. And then, all right, let's drive for 100 hours in a toaster and, just see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, the math adds up there, guys.
Anyway. I don't know. I don't know. I really didn't know where to go with that because there was stuff, and we can't tell all the good stories because that would be a breach of confidentiality.
That's true. But I will say, Cooper Searles is a good time.
I like Coop.
Coop's a good dude. Coop's good people.
Oh, Cooper apparently tweeted. Let's find out. This is great. We apologize to you guys for boring you this way.
The podcast side's really going to play up well on this.
Cooper says sources close to myself can't confirm. Yes, we drank all the Pacifico in the bar.
Cooper, good call, brother.
Yeah. We also had the insider scoop about a few hours before that Jock Peterson had dyed his hair blonde. So that was a legendary moment in all of our lives.
All we did was laugh. There was nothing else we could do.
Even though we're James Brown is in the house. Even though he's not playing yet. I'm just saying, because he's like, my things hurt and whatever. Jock's hip,
Ah, okay. I thought we were talking about James Brown still. I was like,
James Brown brings up that
I'm confused.
Anyway, since we ran out of things to talk about there, because there's only so much we can really say.
Arizona's fun. Perfect 75-degree weather.
Yeah, Arizona was a grand old time, except for when it rained. Instagrammed something about that. That's like, this ad read was a lie. It's not perfect weather all the time. And of course it's not, but it was very good, especially for not rainy times. But we'll have more of the Arizona stories when Gary's here in the human flesh when he gets back next week.
He's gonna have a lot of stories.
He's gonna have stories. He was the one doing all. He was the one humping, if like in terms of getting stuff done. Yeah, thank you. One of the things I've really been wanting to talk about, because I've been doing my investigating, if you will, on the status of the Dodger Stadium renovation all off season long, watching all the little things, watching the things come out, watching parts of concrete get broken, watching holes be very, very not with stuff on them. And I think this week or next week the Dodgers will actually host another they're going to have media come out and look at the stadium in what was supposed to be pretty much like set for opening day, because it's a good long ways off in my personal opinion. But we're going to show this video here for at least the video side, you people on the stream, and yeah, enjoy the video. By the way, this is renderings of Dodger Stadium. So that's your early look at Dodger Stadium as we expect to see it in about a month.
I got opening day tickets.
You son of a bitch.
Sorry, I was a ticket. Opening day ticket.
So am I just supposed to do the post game here by myself?
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, Gary will be here.
Calling Brooke live from the stadium. Maybe we'll just go there and do it then, huh?
FaceTime. I'll FaceTime from there.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That'll go well. The good internet.
So for the podcast side of this that didn't see the video, there are a lot, and go to DodgersNation.com for more on the renovation updates. But it doesn't look like that now, and there's a lot to be done before opening day. I did speak with someone. I get to say this under the condition of anonymity. And sea anemone. I spoke with the sea anemone about this, but somebody who's working at the on the project. I think they're doing like electrical or something like that. You'd be surprised. I was at a bar with them.
Why?
I know. I've been known to drink, but he's like, it might look okay by the time opening day comes through, but the guts ain't gonna be right.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the Dodgers play 6 games and then go on a roadie for like 9 days, 10 days or something like that. So this is going to be like a constant work in progress under it, as part of those renderings, or there's other renderings that have been posted on Twitter and on the website. There's a bar that's going to be under the pavilions now, and nothing would be even remotely done with that. There was, when we went to the Mookie Betts presser, there was a big old giant gaping hole behind both of the pavilions that have since been filled. And as of like the 21st or the 20th or something like that. So it's getting closer. All of the concessions that were part of that outside area are being built in different factories all around the U.S. per Janet Marie Smith, the VP of Planning and Development, all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to see how excited they are, how much they think it will be done in time, and I'm just like, oof, I don't know, man. Have you seen any of it, really?
No, not yet. I haven't really been to the stadium in a minute.
Cool.
But I've heard from you. That's it. That's all I've got for you.
Gary points out there was an idea to show Janet a video. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. If you type it, I'm going to read it. I'm going full-blown... are you about to delete it? Oh, I thought, okay.
They're just looking at it.
Of the hospital in China being built in like 6 days. So, I mean, I guess it can be done. I was told that construction crews are pretty much working, I think, 20 hours a day, not all at one time. But, they're working a lot to make this thing happen.
Oh, at Dodger Stadium.
At Dodger Stadium, not the hospital.
Those are like American workers, though. We work at a different pace.
And, yes.
Union, brother.
Today, the Dodgers announced the home run seats that are going to be available at the front of the pavilions. And surprise, surprise, they are really expensive.
For the low price.
I don't know if it was opening day. I just saw the price. I haven't looked into any of the prices yet, but $155 I saw somewhere. Like what? Like how much?
I bought a ticket last year to a Marlins game.
Never heard of her.
And row A was $16. Row A. On StubHub.
Like Marlins AAA? Oh, wait, that's the same thing.
Nope.
Brian Baker says there's like 4 different crews going on at Dodger Stadium, of course. Dan from Cali says they're getting the aesthetics done last. Don't listen to an electrician. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The guy looked kind of dumb, and I ran into him at a bar in Whittier, so, what do you expect? But either way,
Whittier,
I'm very excited. I do want to see this IRL, as the kids say.
I don't think they say that.
Do they not say that anymore?
No, they don't.
Ryan Moore says he thinks they bit off more than they can chew with those renovations. I mean, that was
a lot.
That was a heavy undertaking. And, I mean, imagine if the Dodgers didn't get bounced 3 weeks early. They would be very much, as the kids say, effed in the A.
Oh, they planned it out. That's what you're saying. They planned
that's
to get
why.
bounced that early. Yeah.
Stan Kasten was like, I need you guys to lose.
Look, I'm going to need you guys to get knocked out early.
It's real inside baseball stuff right there.
Yep.
Katie says Dodger Stadium is turning into Disneyland. Renovation's happening while it's open. Yeah, I mean, that's probably
pretty
a lot.
accurate, yeah. I think, I don't know, there's like a thing at Disneyland that was being built for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I just always saw like the under construction sign. I don't remember what it was. I don't know anything about Disneyland. I'm not rich.
Young Stud on YouTube says, does anyone care about the 76 logo on Dodger Vision versus the LA logo?
Do you have an opinion about that?
No. I mean, 76 and the Dodgers are fairly like synonymous with each other for all of the history of time and other time.
All of the history of time?
Time after time. That's it. That's it. Puppy Butt says it's still good. Brooke and Colin from the parking lot when you're at the stadium.
Oh. Like Chris, I can call into you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Roach dropping another Rob Dyrdek for Brooke Me.
Do you know how many Rob Dyrdek gifts I got sent after the show? Like
3
completely unwarranted. Like I'd be tweeting about something entirely aside from baseball, and somebody would just respond with a Rob Dyrdek thing, and I'm like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. And then my wife's like, you kind of do look like Rob Dyrdek, and I was like, no, I'm done with you. So anyways, long story short, all white people look the same. Congrats to us.
Can confirm. Christopher Lance says, was that GTA 6? Yes, it was. It looks lit. Actually, it looks kind of cheap if we're kind of going with that. Straight Nasty 23 brings up the important point is as long as it's done before the All-Star game, which is the ultimate thing they are looking for, because there's a lot going on and that's kind of contingent around the All-Star game being a thing. Bambino 21 asks, will it be closed off on another Twitch user. Will it be closed off for the Freeway Series? No, actually the Dodgers have 2 games at Dodger Stadium as part of this year's Freeway Series, Monday and Tuesday, and then the opening day is on Thursday. So they have less than 1 month to complete where they're at, and they haven't even it's like the skeleton right now is of the batter's eye is sort of laid out, but nothing is close to done with that. Every single thing behind the pavilion is dirt as of the last time I saw it.
Congrats.
The Cirque du Soleil is taking up a parking lot. Mars Volta, Cirque du Soleil, something like that.
Is that what it's called?
Nice kid, friend from the show.
I don't think so.
Dave from Syracuse in the stream.
Dave!
Dan from Cali asks if we met Chase Utley in Arizona. No, we did not. Gary did, probably. If not, punch him. No.
This guy said I look like Dennis from
I saw
Always
that.
Sunny. Dang, man. People really hating on the
It's
white.
because the implication.
Oh. Yeah. I follow.
Young Stud says, I personally think the LA logo looks better than the 76 logo. Yeah, but, gotta make money. They don't make very much money. How much do you... Okay, if home run seats are 155 American human dollars, how much is, like, a beer going to cost this year?
Dude, I don't want to think
How
about
much is
how
a Mitchie going to cost?
Alcohols are going to cost there.
They were
Because Micheladas were $22? I think they were $22 when you upgrade to a Mitchie. Depending on what kind of beer you use, they're like $22 to $24. And I would buy one. I would still buy one if they're $25.
This is
I don't know what my limit is. $25? I don't think I go past $25. I think that's it.
okay.
I think that's where I'm like, this is enough. This is where I make my stand.
I could see Gail showed up late because Gail says, I thought the Dodgers said the pieces that would go behind the pavilion are being built off-site. And yes, that's what I said. So, wow, rude. No, yeah, all the stuff
She's
is being...
on Canadian time.
All the stuff is being built elsewhere and will be brought in and kind of... One of the things that scares me, it's like they expect them to snap in kind of like Legos. But what happens if they don't?
They don't? Oof.
Well,
here's the thing, guys. I might not be able to afford beer this year at the stadium.
oh, man. Raymundo, our boy, says Brooke looks like American Airlines legend Brock Stewart.
Everybody's all the same to you guys.
I think that's like a spot to end it.
Good Brock Stewart reference.
Yeah.
Bless up. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Brock. We love you, B Stu. Friend of the show. Nice kid. We never met him.
Many
met his dad.
miles.
We met his dad. His dad's a nice guy. Talks a lot. That's about it.
Goodbye.
Anyways, guys, you guys could find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Sorry for kind of weird and off. Like, was this a good episode? It feels like a good episode.
We had a lot of people on there. So.
We had a lot of people. We talked a lot about 2020. We're talking about baseball. We didn't even bring up the Astros, barely a sliver. That makes me happy. We got to talk about pitching. We got to talk about Mookie saying, let me lead off. We didn't even talk about Mookie's Kirk Gibson-esque type speech. But that kid's going to be a difference maker. And, yeah, I'm very, very excited to be talking about Los Angeles Dodger baseball again and writing about it again at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to this podcast. We are Blue Heaven, and it'll probably be Blue Heaven Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. What is that? Water?
Essential water.
Coward. Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, and so many more locations.
That is right. I am at BrokeMe3. This guy over here is at RealFRG. We're both on Twitter and Instagram. We are a great follow. Me, not so much. Thank you to... I guess to you. Oh, Gary, you're doing your job from really far away. Thank you, Gary. Everybody thank Gary. Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you for dropping in on the show, and we will see you
probably later this week. You live here now.
I do live here now. We'll probably do more, guys. I'm probably going to see y'all all the time.
Bye.
Bye.
Get some cold cuts. Oh, I'm supposed to do this.